Welcome to Oh Hell No with Nicole.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Oh Hell No. Today I'm very excited. I have two women with me who have a business that I came across by looking at women's at Forbes. And I have Denise Samir and Julia Capolino, right? I said that right?
Nailed it.
Great. Awesome. So you guys have this business. Is it called Bloom Rent or do you say Bloom E-Rent? Like, is it just Bloom?
So
Bloomerent.
we call it Bloomerent.
Bloomerent. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I wanted to start with Denise. So Denise, when you started this business in 2014, what was your original business plan and or goal? Like, what did you want to do with it?
You know, funny enough, the goal never changed. It was to share flowers between two weddings and events. That was really always the business plan. That was always generally the model. But along the way, you know, we realized that we were also a lead generating platform because all of our customers were choosing florists to book with. So that was probably the one place where maybe we veered off course a little bit, but in a really good way.
Wow. Okay. So how do you know Julia, and when did you bring her into the picture?
I met Julia around the same time that I started Bloomerent. She was actually starting her own company, which she later sold. And we were part of the same group of women, founders and entrepreneurs. So, you know, we got to see each other a decent amount. And basically over the course of time, she started to help me with marketing and user acquisition, and she was consulting for Bloomerent. And, you know, after I think it may have been 3 months of working together, we both kind of had this moment of like, yeah, we should be doing more than just consulting. We should make this a full-time position, and we kind of discussed it more, and eventually she became my co-founder.
Nice. So Julia, when Denise, you know, said, hey, come into this business with me, what was your first, you know, thought?
I mean, I always have thought Bloomerent was such an amazing idea. My background is in marketing, user acquisition, but also events. So the pain point was really apparent to me. I also think that, you know, flowers are something that I've always had a passion for. I absolutely love flowers. I love flower arranging. And, you know, I think that the concept of being able, you know, to allow two events to really capitalize and benefit from a florist's hard work is something that really appealed to me. I actually was applying to business school at the time that I was consulting for Denise. And, you know, I think when you're applying to business school, you are thinking about what you're doing next. And, you know, you're spending so much time sort of pitching yourself to these schools. And a lot of what I was, you know, the narrative I was creating to these schools was, you know, I want to find a rocket ship. I want to jump on board. I want to help build a team and, you know, build a product and fix a problem. And here I sort of had all of those opportunities in front of me with Bloomerent. And I sort of said to myself, why would I go spend 2 years and so much money looking for something when it's right in front of me? And so it was ended up being a really easy decision. And, you know, I think Denise and I, what's so great is we have such different backgrounds and skill sets. You know, hers is in sales. She was at an amazing startup prior, which I always think is why she was able to sort of construct Bloomerent so brilliantly in terms of how the business runs. And then my background is in sort of the user acquisition side. So there's a really nice natural split for responsibility as well for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, like, how does this business work? Like, if I was a customer and I called you guys and wanted to find out about how I could share my flowers or get flowers for an event.
Totally. So you would head to our site.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something that Denise and I had to really deal with when we were doing this was the fact that neither of us are technical co-founders. So for us, building a website was not as easy as you know, snapping our fingers, writing some code, and having a beautiful site. It definitely was a process, but also an amazing learning experience. And along the way, we found our lead developer, Anatoly, who's absolutely amazing. But you would head to our site, put in your event date and location, and from there, you would have the option to either look at florists in our community. So depending on where you are, we have tons of florists across the country. So you'd browse the florists, in which case you'd be a first event, or you'd look at the options to opt into flowers as a second event. As a first event, you have total creative control of the flowers. So if the process really doesn't change as it would from a normal bride. So I would go on there, pick my florist, have those conversations with the florist, and then from there I would list my centerpieces online for a second event to be able to browse. Wow. As the first event, if there's a match, you save 10%. As the second event, when you're opting into those flowers, which is typically within 2 to 3 days of the first event, you save anywhere from 40 to 60% off. So a pretty significant savings.
Wow, yes. I mean, this idea is so amazing to me. Like, I just love it because I mean, seriously.
We love hearing that.
I see like people spend so much money on flowers. Like even the other day,
Crazy.
My girlfriend had a event, like a baby shower, and she had all these centerpieces and all this flowers everywhere. And then after it's like, oh my God, what do I do with these flowers? And then, nothing. So it just goes to waste. So this is like brilliant. You guys are awesome. So, do you only use the flowers you said that there were a couple of days. So how many days can you go with using the flowers, or is it just a one-time use after the first event, or what is the time frame on that?
So anywhere between 1 to 3 days after the event is when you can reuse the flowers. As far as Bloomerent is concerned, after that second event, we kind of step away. Mm-hmm. But something we always encourage is the flowers still don't die after that second event. They still have life in them. So if customers want to donate them to a home or a hospital nearby, it's really a nice way of just continuing that life cycle.
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you.
We always say you don't buy flowers from the grocery store and throw them out after 5 hours. So why, when you're spending so much money on them, would you toss them in the trash, after an event? We really allow them to continue on. And then on the flip side, for florists, they create them once and sell them twice. So for them, we're actually bringing in more, we're actually allowing them to increase their overall revenue.
So was it easy to get florists to come on board with this idea?
It was because, look, every florist is different, mm-hmm. but most florists are going back, to Julia's point, after an event anyway, and they're picking up the rented vases. So from that perspective, we're not changing the operations that they typically go through anyway. We're coming in and saying, hey, you're going to go back at the end of the night, and you're going to pick these up anyway. How about you resell them months in advance instead? Someone else reaps the benefits of those flowers. You're continuing to do the same thing you do, and in addition to doing so, you're gaining more revenue. So for the florists, it's a win-win because they get to do what they're already doing, but make more money for doing so.
Right. Now, what I wanted to say, who's your biggest client? Like, is it brides or just regular?
Definitely brides.
Definitely brides.
Most startups, and something that they, all of our mentors have really encouraged is with any startup, you really want to focus on a specific customer first. Mm-hmm. And then from there, you want to broaden sort of who you're talking to and who you're working with. But, brides and grooms were definitely our first customer, mm-hmm. and they still to this day are the largest majority of our customers. We also do a ton of work with corporate events. Mm-hmm. Obviously, corporate events are tied to their bottom line, so savings is extremely important to them. And then we've also found that companies want to, encourage sustainability. So we're actually allowing companies to decrease their overall footprint by reducing floral waste. But in general, any event, bridal showers, baby showers, milestone events such as birthdays, bar mitzvahs, all these events use centerpieces, and so they're all potential clients for us.
Right. Now I'm going to ask you something that might sound a little weird. What about like funerals? What do people do with the funeral? What do they do with the flowers after?
This is not the first time we've gotten that question. Funny enough, Julia and I had someone come up to us once and tell us that we should expand into funerals and call it Bloomerent. So that was kind of sad.
Yeah.
That was interesting branding concept.
Yeah, very interesting. Here's the thing. We think that there are so many reasons why we understand funerals would want and benefit from reused flowers, but there's something to be said for customers who are having their wedding day, sharing it with the funeral that doesn't really have the same meaning.
Yeah.
So as of right now, we don't really do that, but it's definitely something that we're open to future.
Yeah, because what about funerals sharing the flowers with other funerals? Because, you know, some people don't have a big budget for a funeral, or it's unexpected and they might need some flowers but don't really have a lot of money to spend on it. And that would be a good way to say, hey, you know, you can use these flowers too. I mean, you never know.
Growth opportunities.
I mean,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because flowers.
We have a lot of expansion ahead.
Yeah. So that was my segue into my next question is like, do you see areas where you can definitely expand your business? Like when you guys sit down and brainstorm, do you guys have other plans to do other things with the business?
Absolutely. I
mean, we actually call it our parking lot.
Okay.
So we call it our parking lot, and that's kind of where we brainstorm all these different ideas and ways that we can expand our business in the future. So stay tuned.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely going to stay tuned. So is everything done online? Do you guys have office space or a warehouse, or is everything just through the website?
So everything, we are a technology platform. Yeah, we're a marketplace, so we don't actually handle any of the operations. The florists do. So Denise and I work out of we work in Gramercy, and then our developer is based out of Austin. But in general, you know, what's so brilliant about what we're doing is the second Denise signs up a florist in a new city across the country, we're live in that city because the florists are the professionals. We always want to leave it in the hands of the professionals so that our customers can be, you know, rest assured that the flowers are always going to look amazing.
Yeah. That's so good too, because that cuts down a lot of overhead costs, you know, with having like a store and stuff. Do you guys, what was I going to say? Oh, well, this question wouldn't make sense because you guys are not touching anything. What I was going to ask is if you ever have an order, but they want to add on to that order. Like they might say, okay, we will reuse what was originally purchased by, you know, customer A, but we want to add this to it. Do you ever have that come up, or it's usually just sold as is?
No, that's totally possible. Basically, because we're working with the florist, when you are reusing centerpieces, if let's say you're opting to reuse 25 centerpieces that have a very neutral palette, but you want to add a pop of blue to your wedding, which you're able to do that. What happens is you talk to the florist ahead of time, let them know about that. The same way they're ordering florists for the first, you know, wedding or event, they're also going to order that pop of blue for your event so that they can repurpose them and add them. So you can definitely make changes, minor, but you can make them.
Okay. Wow, that's cool. And then I wanted to ask, what is the smallest order that you guys have ever taken? And then I wanted to know what the largest order was, like, just off the top of your head.
So the smallest order I can think of was actually this week. A hotel in Manhattan just needed 2 arrangements for their lobby, and I think that was $350. There's a lot of large orders to be taken. I mean, in Manhattan alone, people spend $80,000 on their flowers. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So we've done some, you know, nice weddings.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was watching this reality show the other day because I'm obsessed with reality TV. And
so are we.
That's so awesome.
Aren't we all?
Right? So the girl was getting married. It was Wags Miami, and she was going to look at centerpieces. And they were like, oh, well, how much is it going to be? And they were like, oh, like $180,000. It was like $180,000. Like, yeah.
Crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's insane. But
and I think that's something people don't realize, too, how much flowers really cost. And that's something that we really want to educate our customers on because, you know, depending on what you're looking for, $180,000, you know, that might make sense,
right,
which is the sad truth about flowers. But the other thing that we want to iterate, too, is florists really do work so hard. And what you're paying for is not just the florists to go out there and source and deliver and set up and their labor, but again, really more than anything, it's their labor. You know, you're taking their years of experience and you're basically buying it. and you're saying that you believe in them to be able to create these incredible arrangements for you. And based on that, some florists can, do a lot more for labor than others can. But in the scheme of things, flowers cost money because someone is doing them for you. So that's really something that we want people to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful, it's like an art too, I mean, when you look at some arrangements, it's like amazing. So I totally get it.
Florists deserve a lot of credit. They do really incredible work.
Yeah, they really do, honestly. So because this is the Oh Hell No podcast, I have to ask each of you, and we'll start with Denise. What were some of your Oh Hell No challenges when starting this business? Give us 3 things that was like an oh hell no for you when you were starting this business, or even like starting it, being in it, and then maybe something today.
That's a good question.
Thanks.
Well, one of them would definitely have to be, I remember one florist really, really early on told me she loved this so much, it makes so much sense, but she just doesn't want to change what she's doing. That was definitely an oh hell no moment. When a florist tells you that everything you're doing is great, this makes so much sense, I just don't want to get on board right now. But fortunately that hasn't happened much since. Another oh hell no moment.
I'll jump in. I think fundraising has been an experience for us. And there have been some moments where we've pitched some people and they sort of have so much incredible feedback, but for whatever reason they say, marketplace is really, we're much rather invest in sort of this area of technology now. And you're sort of like, oh, hell no.
Right.
We're going to sell this company for, $500 million, and then you'll come back and regret it.
Right.
And then you'll say, oh, hell no.
Exactly. You don't want that, honey. No way.
It's so true.
And then tell me something that happened today, just today, because the whole thing for me is I feel like we're always going to have these oh hell no moments on our journey, and it's just something that we push through, embrace, and keep it moving. So I like to find out what's making you say oh hell no. So today, for you guys, did you have an oh hell no moment?
Did we, Denise?
Today was a pretty good day, actually.
Yeah,
really?
Today was a good day.
Nothing? Not even this morning where the coffee machine wasn't working, or maybe there wasn't any milk? Nothing?
I didn't love the weather.
I mean, I got hit I got stuck in a lot of traffic, so you know what?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, that's an oh hell no moment. I hate traffic.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, it was such a pleasure speaking with you guys and learning more about your business. I think it's amazing, and I wish you guys all the best. I hope it grows and blows up, and you guys are doing phenomenal, Where can people reach you? Give me your links and tell us, your websites and all that stuff.
So our website is www.bloomerent.com, so BLOOMERENT, and all of our social is at Bloomerent, so just at BLOOMERENT.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Check us out on Instagram. We have a great Instagram.
Yes, I was following your page. It's great. It looks so beautiful.
A lot of flowers.
Yes. So thanks again for joining me with Oh Hell No, and take care, guys.